Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We're not even saying good night, all right? Welcome again to another episode of HFLE for all a we. And today, as usual, we have another guidance counselor here with us.
Hi everyone, Kim Jones, guidance counselor, Combermere School, and as I will always say, up and on.
Well, I'm still here, Donna Tolcox, counselor at Graydon Seeley Secondary School. And we are here with this initiative from the Barbados Association of Guidance Counselors, and we are bringing HFLE to you at home, wherever you are, okay? Now today again we are looking at another very, very interesting but personal topic on dealing with stress. I'm not going to call it stress management, I'm going to call it stress busting. What do you think?
Yes, I can agree with that. We don't just want to say that it's just stress. No, we want to find a way to deal with it and knock it out as best we can. So, I agree.
Yeah, so in order to do that, we have to understand what stress is, where does it come from, and then we're going to look at some ways that we can bust it, beat it, because really and truly, we do not need stress in our lives.
Absolutely.
And if we know what it is, then we know how to deal with it appropriately. So let's start at the beginning. What is stress? First, stress is your body's natural reaction to change or to a sudden trauma or to a situation that is negative or that is unwanted or that is a transition from one stage to the next, but it seems to go on for a very, very long time. And it affects your bodies in different ways. Now, I'm going to give you a little example of stress, okay? And just show you how it can build up. Can everybody see my pen?
Yes.
My pen is light, isn't it, Kim?
Very.
Very light.
Very.
I mean, this weighs absolutely nothing. Doesn't even weigh a pound. I like to hold it in my hand, it's like, doesn't weigh anything. But if I were to hold my pen in my hand like this and keep talking and talking, and let's say we do a segment and after a minute, this pen will start to feel very heavy.
Yes. Absolutely.
What do you think will happen to my hand after 2 minutes, Kim?
Between the shaking, the trembling, you might actually end up dropping the pen because it's too much after a while.
But I might tell myself, I can't drop this pen. If I drop this pen, I might lose a competition.
There you go.
I might break the pen. So I hold on. What happens after about 5 minutes, Kim?
Everything happens. The arm starts to hurt, the shoulder starts to hurt, the neck starts to hurt, you start to get frustrated. There's definite stress, even though you're looking stressed.
After about an hour holding this pen, what will happen?
After an hour, we're going to start crying. We're going to start crying or screaming.
I'm going to need some support, all right? I might bust out in a cold sweat.
Correct.
You know, all kinds of things will happen. And for me, holding on to this pen for a very long time will cause all these different things in my body. I might start to feel weak.
Yes.
I might start to get emotional. As Kim said, I might cry. I might say, I can't help with this pen. What am I going to do? And somebody else will come along, take the pen out of my hand and say, but there's only a pen.
Yes.
Because they would not have had the experience with this pen that I had.
Very important.
Holding it for so long.
Yes.
Nobody else understands your stress.
That's right.
Like you.
You do.
So that's why you need to understand your stress.
Yes.
For you. And with
Absolutely.
that, we're going to now look at different types of stress and how it affects the body. All right? So since I started off, I showed you all about the physical things with the body. Sometimes stress does cause you to have aches and pains. Sometimes stress affects we say the stomach, but it affects your bowels.
It does.
Right? Sometimes stress can make you go to the bathroom over and over and over again. And sometimes stress can cause you to go to the bathroom and nothing happens.
That's right.
Constipation, right? Sometimes when you're dealing with stress and it affects your body, you can't sleep.
Yes.
Sometimes you sleep too much.
Too much. Yes. It depends on the individual. It really does depend on the individual. There's some people who eat too much, and then there are people who lose their appetite completely.
Yeah.
There's some people who break out in rashes. There's some people who develop horrible acne because of stress. The body is trying to figure out a way to deal with it, and sometimes it gets it right, and sometimes it doesn't. But first, and what you said earlier is so correct. Different people experience stress in different ways, which means that your body, how my body deals with stress is not the way your body is going to deal with stress.
Exactly.
So you need to know your own body for yourself. Absolutely.
Exactly. I remember when I was growing up, every time it was exam times, I would prepare and everything, but I would have the worst rashes all along my hands, my arms, and I would sometimes scratch until I bled. Right?
Wow.
Some people, their palms get so sweaty when they're under stress that they cannot hold a pencil or a pen properly, or if they try to write, it smudges their books. Right? So
yes,
these are
absolutely, you're right.
Yeah.
And then some people actually go to use to the extreme where they use substances, whether it be alcohol, whether it be drugs, other drugs. I remember that we had I remember in college, the thing was, you want to study so much and there's so much to do and there's so many exams, and we never thought of coffee as a drug with the caffeine, but we used to consume lots of chocolate-covered coffee beans so that we could stay awake and stay awake. And the problem is when you stay awake that long, you will crash.
It puts your body under
stress. Absolutely.
Okay? Just like an illness puts your body under stress, when you have a bad cold, or you have an asthma attack, or you have the flu or some kind of illness, your body goes into its own kind of stress. So because it's dealing with these different things that are in there.
That is correct.
All right? And you have to recognize that as well. There's another area too that where the body is concerned. Sometimes when you're under stress, your body craves certain things more than at other times.
Yes.
We call it sometimes comfort food.
Tamarind balls.
Ice cream.
Yes.
You know, things that we shouldn't consume in large quantities, but sometimes when you're under stress,
yes,
you eat those things, and some other people, as Kim said before, wouldn't eat or drink anything at all. So you need to understand the effect that stress has on your body. Now we're talking about the mind as well.
Yes.
Because we're not talking about the feelings just yet, we're talking about the mind. You know that when you're under stress, it's hard to focus?
Very, very, very hard to focus. And not just on, let's say, schoolwork, but just on sometimes even the simplest things. It is hard to focus, and sometimes you might have difficulty remembering or keeping track of little things. You know, where did I put this? Where did I put that? Oh wait, I was supposed to be here. I forgot about that meeting. And normally you're not a person that forgets.
I did my homework.
Yes.
And forgot it at home.
I don't know where I put it.
Or in the bathroom, or outside, or in the car, or someplace else. And it's not that you're saying that as an excuse. It's just that you were under so much stress to get things done that you lost track.
Absolutely.
Of something. Sometimes stress can make you draw a complete blank.
Yes.
Complete blank.
Yes.
Especially I've seen it in exams. I've even seen it with students. You know, sometimes when you're not supposed to have a certain device like a cell phone.
Yes.
And you're found with a cell phone, and then somebody demands to have your parents' number. And you can't remember it.
Yes. I've seen that.
And I know that some students say they can't remember it. We know you. But there is a genuine amnesia when somebody is yelling at you, or you are placed in a situation where you are very frightened, and sometimes you can't even remember your own name.
Yes.
When you're under that much stress. So that's an intense moment of stress, right? So those are some of the mental things that happen.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then there's some emotional things that happen with stress. Oh, the emotional things.
The emotional things are sometimes the ones that really get us. Sometimes you feel very overwhelmed as if no matter what I do, I can't get it right. And it seems like everything is, cropping up or adding up on top of each other. And that might not be the case.
Yeah.
But because you are already under stress, that is how you feel. And you're feeling like trapped. Oh, this is really bad. Or I'll give a simple example. You did not study for the exam that you were supposed to, and it's the night before the exam. Mm-hmm. So you're feeling very overwhelmed. If mommy asks a question or anything, you're very irritable. Mm-hmm. You feel trapped because your logic is, I know I should have studied for this exam before this point, but now we're here and I don't know what to do. And that adds more stress and makes it harder to study for the exam. These are some of the emotional issues that can occur with stress.
Yeah, and sometimes too, under that much stress, you lose your self-confidence.
Absolutely, yeah,
right?
That's right.
You start to question every single thing that you used to be able to do just like that. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you find that you tell yourself things like, I'm not good enough. I'm not fast enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. Mm-hmm. I'm not handsome enough. I'm not tall enough. And these kinds of thoughts are based on that emotional impact that stress will have on you. Sometimes you're feeling pressured by someone else to do something that you might not really want to do. Mm-hmm. And that's a different kind of stress there too, because now you're torn.
Yes.
That feeling of being torn. I want to do this, but if I do this, then that might happen. I know I shouldn't, but I want to, okay? And sometimes when you're under that much stress, you might not make the best decision.
Yes.
So stress has a lot of areas that can impact negatively on you, even though it is a naturally occurring thing. If you don't recognize it for what it is, the negative impacts will have a major issue with that, because it can lead you to certain behaviors. It can lead you to do certain things that you would not normally do.
Yes.
If you have control over how you feel, how you decide things,
That's
your
right.
ability to reason, So what we're going to look at now is how can we deal with stress? One of the ways we can deal with it is to know what triggers you.
Absolutely.
Right? So let's discuss a few of the triggers of stress.
I think one of the first things when it comes to dealing with stress is knowing, as we said before, knowing your own body. So when you wait until the last minute, you realize this stresses me out. So it means then that we have to find a way to avoid making last minute decisions.
No procrastinating.
No procrastination.
Right.
That's it. No procrastination.
Do what you have to do.
When you're supposed to do it, at the time you're supposed to do it.
And get it over and done with.
That's it.
Right.
If it is you realize that loud noises constantly coming at you stress you out, you might need to find a place that when it starts to get too much, you can move yourself away. For me, when I hear people clicking their nails on the table, that not only annoys me, but it gets me to the point where sometimes I can get completely stressed out about it. Mm-hmm. So I have to figure out whether I'm going to speak to the person or remove myself from the situation, because I can actually feel my body reacting to it. So it goes back to what you said again about knowing your body and knowing what triggers you, because what triggers me will not trigger you.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we get stressed out when we cannot get what we want at the time that we want it, right? I'm not going to say much more about that where I am concerned, but let it be known that even that, recognizing the fact that you cannot always get what you want at the time that you want it, helps you to better deal with the stress that rises up when that happens, all right? We were talking earlier about things that you want now, but you really can't get. Fast food.
Yes.
I don't think we're talking about food all the time, but that's just something that all of us can
identify with. It's a simple thing,
with.
but we can identify with it. Going to your favorite restaurant or your hangout spot, or just relaxing with your friends. That used to be the norm. That was a given, and it's no longer a given.
Yeah.
So you feel it, and it can bring along stress, because as much as sometimes you love your brothers or sisters, you might want to see some faces other than your brothers and your sisters, and right now you can't, and that can bring on some stress.
Definitely, definitely. Change. One of the biggest things to cause stress is change, even if it is change for the better.
Yes.
Right? Right now, change of routine is causing stress. Some people have a chance to lay down longer and sleep in, but for them, when they wake up, it's like, whoa, is that kind of time already? And then they start to feel stressed. I have missed something. All right? So change causes stress. What else can we think of that causes stress now?
I guess one of the biggest things that we can think about is, well, beyond the routine, as much as students, you might not want to say this, you know you miss your classes.
Oh, yes.
And you know you miss your work. And you know you miss your teachers. And you know you miss the structure of school. And let's be honest, the structure of school gave us something to look forward to because we knew that vacation is coming up, or thank God it's Friday is coming up, or after the Christmas break I'm going to see my friends again, or after the summer break. We had certain things that were normal, that were our ritual, that were routine, and as much as you might not want to admit it, come on, you know that you miss school and being in class and being with your friends and having your lunch and being under the trees and talking with your friends. You know you miss that too.
Definitely.
You know it.
I miss it, right? and another thing that we miss, that we get stressed out about, is when we don't participate, when we're not given the chance to be a part in decisions that are made on our behalf or for us. Okay?
Yes.
That's a big stressor. When somebody else says, okay, this is what's going to happen, and they never ask for your opinion. They never ask for your input. It could be rules of a game with your friends. It could be if you were in a group working on a project together and somebody changes the rules. So that also causes stress. So now that we've looked at some of the triggers, in our limited amount of time that we've got left, we're going to look at some stress busters. This is my favorite part. How can we bust this stress wide open and deal with all of these different things that are coming at us so that it doesn't overwhelm us, right?
Oh, yeah.
So one of the first stress busters, I'm going to start off.
Go ahead.
I'm going to start
Go
off.
ahead.
Don't look at my size and think I don't like exercise. Exercise. Move. Get your body moving.
Agreed.
Change your position, right? If you're sitting down, stand up. If you're standing up, lie down.
Correct.
All right? If you're inside, step onto the balcony. What do they call it? The curvature of your property?
Yes.
Go to the edge of your, don't go in the road, right? But, if you're inside, step outside. If you're outside, step inside.
Correct.
Change your physical space. And then move that body around sometimes. Is that shrugging your shoulders? You can go through a lot of different little exercises.
Absolutely.
But moving. It does something to the hormones in your body. It gives you more energy, and that's a good thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Also listening to music. I cannot imagine a life without music. I am addicted to music, from rock to classical to heavy metal to R&B. I don't care what you like. Get a song, listen to it, and dance like nobody is watching.
Yes.
Enjoy a good dance and freak them out even more. Laugh while you're dancing and listening to music.
And singing sometimes.
There you go.
Right?
People might think it's strange, but you know what? Those are some good ways to release all the, as my grandma would say, the happy chemicals in you, the endorphins in you. You release that stress, get a favorite song, and just go crazy. It's okay. Definitely. Laugh and dance and have fun. And you know what? Life will have the ups and downs. It will always have them. But find something in it to smile at. Find something in it to laugh at. If I trip and fall now, I'm going to laugh at me before you get a chance to laugh at me. Because life is meant to be enjoyed. Find a way to enjoy it.
Definitely. So while you're dancing and singing and doing that exercising and all that, two more things. Finish what you start.
Yes.
Finish what you start. That always helps to relieve that stress. No, I didn't tell you to finish it in the time that somebody else says it needs to be done by, right? If you don't procrastinate, you finish it in your time.
Yes.
And another thing that's very important is to clean your space or declutter your space. Sometimes we feel crowded and trapped because there's just too much stuff around us. All right? So declutter your little space, and that would also help with relieving stress.
Another thing I think, and I will say this one very quickly, watch what you are eating and watch what you are drinking. A lot of times when you're home, you snack a lot and you eat more sugar than you should, more salt than you should, you're consuming more soft drinks than you should, or you're not drinking as much water as you should. All of these things will contribute to your stress levels. Watch your diet. That will make a big difference as well.
Especially with the sugar, because your sugar goes up and then it crashes. All right? Talk to somebody that you trust. Sometimes it's venting, just getting it out. And you want to let somebody who will, give you no judgment about what you're saying.
Yes.
That will help. A good cry. If
Crying
you need to cry, go and cry.
Crying is a good thing.
Okay, crying, it helps to relieve the stress as well and release tension. All right? And as usual, we have run out of time. So we're going to wrap up really quick by giving you a little challenge. We've mentioned several different ways of busting stress. We want you to identify 3 of your own stressors. What stresses you out? And I want you to add 3 stress busters to the list of things that we've talked about so far. What do you think?
I think that can work. It's important. Don't just hear what we said. I want to hear how you do it. Because you might have some ideas that we never thought of. So we want to hear them.
We want to hear them. So you can send that list to your guidance counselor in your school, or you can use this email address, bagc@gmail.com. And with that, we're gonna have to let you go. So goodbye, stay safe, and remember that HFLE is for all of we. Bye.
Bye, everyone.